Wow, it's a beautiful weekend. I was up here earlier in the week to do a little bit of work on the Clark. I came in and I was on a rush. I got some of the packing material for the Ram. And here's the packing material. I already took a piece off, wrapped it around, put a bevel on it, cut it, and pushed it in. And there's my cap. Can't pull it out right now. I have a dust seal here. Don't know where I could ever get another one without taking it down. So I just wrapped some Teflon here, and then that'll just help protect it. And then right there with the seal, with this pulled out, and I wrapped the that square seal packing. I'll give you a look at it. It's pretty square. It's a square packing, and I've pressed it down in, but I was just using the bolts. I didn't push up on the I didn't want to push hard on that sheet metal, so I had to get some washers here. So I've got my, there we go, one washer on, and then find the hole. Oh, man, I probably should have got me some longer bolts when I was out. I thought I had it pushed in without it. I think I pulled it back out. I'll have to take this out, get it pushed in a little bit more, and then put it back on. But yeah, now that I look at it, I probably might need to get a little bit longer bolts there. So let me get that in. Well, I got it all in, but I forgot that I needed bolts that are going to be 3/8 of an inch longer, because the packing's 3/8 inch thicker. So I am going to have to pick some up and bring it in probably tomorrow. So I don't have any fine thread here. So I'm gonna, at least the Ram isn't leaking anymore. And now I can get over to the excavator, because I've been working on that, and I've got a few more things to do with that to get it up and running. I almost forgot. A couple days ago, I put some of the ATF in the transmission on the Clark, and no, I just topped off a little bit more, but I didn't check to see if it was leaking or not. So we're gonna go underneath and see if the pan is leaking at all, or if it's holding. Well, I don't see any leaks. That's a good sign. Okay, well, I'd like to do more on the Clark, but not today. I'm trying to think if I ought to just go and straight over convert it to 24 volts before starting it up or anything, or if I ought to just start it up on 12, move it around a little bit. Maybe that's what I probably ought to do. It was set up for 12 volts, but I want to convert it to 24. So I'll need to do a few more things. I'll need to get some more batteries and stuff and do a little bit of wiring and get the switch fixed for that. And hopefully it'll run. Today, I'm gonna see if we can actually operate this thing fully. I've been doing a little bit of some greasing. There's a couple of places that won't take grease. I've checked my hydraulics. I just need to, looks like I need to put a little bit of motor oil in. I've lifted up on the coolant, and it's been sitting a while. This thing does not want to move very well. It doesn't have almost any power on moving. It barely can just roll around on the flat ground. It definitely would not go up the mountain trail over there. So, but it's just good for just working around in this lower area here on these like projects here, and for trenching. It's got a really narrow bucket, really heavy duty trenching bucket. So after I take care of the motor oil on this thing here, I am going to, I got the parts to fix the fuse. So we got the fuse to put in and the motor oil, and then just see about getting the throttle cable to move. And then I think this thing should go, hopefully. It's like another question, will it work now or not? So let's see what I can do. I'm filling it up, trying to get the oil level up, and I have to get me a rag. I know it was low, but one of the issues I have is my throttle cable, even my shutoff cable. It's actually completely disabled because that cable's frozen. This cable seems to move somewhat through here, but it's frozen at some point in this green line, so I am going to have to follow it back. It's probably in the cab, right where it comes from above and loops down and around. Water probably got in and settled down inside, which is a pain. Probably should have maybe got underneath and slice this open, so if water gets inside on that low point, that it could drain out. So I'm gonna finish filling it up, and then we'll get over looking at the fuses and the throttle cable. Well, looking at one good side, I don't know how well you would say it, of having your window broken, I can get right into my fuse holders right here, and probably should change all of them, but at this moment I just need to change the one that is actually having a problem. Well, I guess I'll see about just take the time and change all of them. So there's a missing one there. I ordered a pack of 10 off of eBay, and luckily it got here in time. So I'm going to start, this is the one here that powers the starter motor, so I'm going to do that one first. Alright, well, I'm going to have to get some other tools. Notice that these were soldered in, which is really how I like it, but I am going to actually use some wire fittings, because I've got on mine these. I want to make it so I can unplug them and replace these easily. So I'm going to simply put these connectors on, and then I can have the fuse holder easily removable. And I went and picked up a fine tool. I've been using the cheap crimpers, but I hate them and they work really bad. I got stopped at Home Depot. So I like the way that these crimp rather than those cheaper ones. All right. So I'm going to get these all installed here, and then we'll go to the next one, which is working on the throttle cable. I replaced 3. There was like one that was not hooked up, missing parts, and one completely missing. But this fan, there was nothing connected to that. These are like fans and blowers for the air conditioning or the air or whatever. So all I did for right now, since the others aren't hooked up, the wires just like went to nowhere. I just hooked up the starter, 2-speed, and house lock. And I have those all wired in right there. I have other things in here which I have no idea what they are. It's like a circuit breaker right there. Not really sure what that's for. And an NPK switch. I'm gonna have to look up what that is. A few other things. Most of these I never really did anything with anyway. So let's see if I can just sort of, oh, I got to plug the battery in, and then we'll see if the starter button will work. All right, well, I'm just gonna bump it just to see if it like engages it. Huh. That's interesting. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta do some more checking. I don't know why. I figure that should work. Let's see if I got power to it. Well, silly me. From the last time I did it, I took the connector off the push button switch. So I just got to connect it back up. All right. Let's see if it'll bounce. Oh, turn it on. It does! Yay! So, one more just quickie. Yep. All right. So, I need to work on the throttle cable, but with the cab right over this track, I can't get up underneath. So I need to rotate this whole turret, and then I should be able to get underneath to take a look at these this throttle cable and the fuel shutoff cable. So I'm going to clean up here, and I'm just going to leave this up in the air, holding this up in the air like this, but put the tools away. See if I can start this paper, you know, to see if I can start this puppy up and rotate it. That would be a big thing. It's been sitting here for a while. As I was trying to close everything up, I noticed that this tends to always bind up on this and cause me a lot of issues. So I just, somebody welded this on and it just stuck out a little bit. So I've cut off just a little bit of it. So hopefully this will pass by. And I just need to get all the sharp burrs off of it. And then I can close all my doors and start it up and see if I can move it. Alrighty, here we go. Can I get this thing to move? I don't know if I can get it to move because the throttle cable's stuck, but it should be enough. Hopefully I can rotate this turret so I can get underneath there and work on that. So turret try to turn. Turret's trying to turn. Okay, this is just opposite. Forgotten about this one. Too slow. Let's see if somehow I can get the idle up. I was able to get it up a little bit, so I'm blowing hydraulic fluid. It was not too bad, but if some of these hydraulic rams drained, it might have emptied my tank out. So I'm going to shut her down, take a look what I got in there. Yeah, pretty low. It was just basically like 1 inch lower than the filter in the tank, so it was sucking air. So I just need to get up like 1 inch, maybe 2 inches or so, just to get it, just to be able to move this machine around. But I really do need to actually drain all the hydraulic out of the system, so I don't want to put too much in right away. So I am going to start filling up. I'm hoping I have one more bucket over in the building. I only found about 7 gallons of hydraulic. Put that in. Hopefully it's enough I can at least rotate the turret here. Seems like I got my throttle working, but got one of the foot pedals is pretty stuck, so I want to get underneath to lubricate it. So let's start it up. Get underneath to work on this pedal here. Now I can get underneath. Now that I can get up here, you can see all my levers. And I'm just gonna squirt some WD-40 on everything. This one's the one that's being a little bit stuck, but all of them's gonna get some, look to see if there's any greasing up there, but I don't really see anything that looks like for greasing. And then we'll see if we can get this thing to move out. Now, I wasn't sure exactly how the big idler and tensioner wheels were lubricated. And right where you see that shiny grease zerk, there was just a pipe plug. So I squirted a little WD in there. Now I'm going to squirt some, pump some grease in there. Maybe that might make it so it'll roll easier, because I'm not really certain, because this other side, which is the one that's having a little more trouble, I'm wondering if it just needs some lubrication. But I'm not exactly certain if they like put oil in it, and that's why they have a cap, so you get it up to a point and then they just put oil in, or if they were doing grease. So I really don't know. I will, like I said, I just put some WD-40, squirted some in, and then I'll pump some grease in. Hopefully that'll work. It didn't seem like there was like grease there, but I'm still not really sure about it. So let me think about it a little bit more. Thinking about it some more, I decided not to put the grease zerk fitting on it. I am going to try to put oil in it, because I could squirt quite a bit of WD in there, but I need something like a heavier oil. I'm guessing that's what it is. So I've got to make some fittings and stuff to be able to do this. So I'm not going to be able to do it today. I will put that on my list to pick up when I go back tonight. Then I'll go to the city and pick up some supplies for tomorrow. I might be able to get to it tomorrow. But I also need hydraulic oil too. So a couple buckets of that, and I'm gonna probably guess like some sort of like a gear oil for that, those rollers. I mean, if I put something a little bit heavy in, it's not gonna bother it any more than what it already has. So, all right, well, I'm gonna see what else I'm gonna do. I gotta do some more cleanup and try to get some more plans. And hopefully tomorrow I can be able to get up to the top and go through the mountain truck and get it ready to be running again. And probably I need to get one of these other trucks here working. They actually all ran before they were parked, but they've been sitting there for a while. So got a lot of little things to do. I've gotten back up here with some supplies, went into town this morning, and got me a bucket here from work. Had to get this little teeny hose here because there's a fill hole right there. I didn't see any grease, so I'm assuming that it's basically like a gear oil or something, an oil to lubricate the bearings. And I was thinking originally putting the greaser because the threads are the same, but I don't know how well it would work. So I'm going to just use gear oil. Later on, if I think that it's leaking out or something, I will maybe try grease. But I don't know if these were ever supposed to be greased or oiled, but can't hurt to fill up the inside with gear oil. So that's what I'm going to do on both of these rollers at the end. This one seemed to be making some noise, so maybe it'll help it. So there's not much information on this John Deere 890. When I tried to get even any sort of parts or whatever, I couldn't find anything. And like I said, some of the idlers on the bottom on one side are from a different machine that I had to pick up, and they need a spacer. I'll probably make some spacers for it later. I didn't really have the ability before to do it, but now I've got access to equipment. I can make those little spacers for them. So, all right, well, I'm going to fill it up and see how much I can pump in. I can get this little tube to fit in that little teeny weeny hole right there. Ooh, almost popping out that little adapter. I better put maybe some tape on that. One on this side here doesn't look like it's ever been off. It is really, really just rusted in there. So I'm gonna try to get that out. See if I can get any of the dirt away from it before opening it. Well, let's see if I can get that plug out and see if we can get some gear oil in there, because this track right here is having a little more issue than the other one. I was able to get it out, not too difficult. So just slowly pump. Doesn't seem to take too much. I made sure I got the hole up pretty high. I could have probably gone a little bit higher, but to get the plug out was a little bit more, I needed to get it where it was at right there. And whoop, there we go. It's full. It doesn't take too much. I replaced the old nut with a new brass one, like on the other side. But this thing is like moving very, very difficultly. It was like that when I got it. I basically just bought it for scrap price at the time, and I do know that it's supposed to have it's 2 speeds. So I'm wondering if maybe it's stuck in high range. Or it could be stuck in low range. And maybe in high range, it's stuck in high range, it doesn't have the torque to move up and down like it should. And because I know the hydraulic pump's a little weak on this. So I'm gonna look around there, do some more lubrication. And then today I need to go up and get some of the stuff ready for the fortress. Get the water tank filled up and see what I need to do with the mountain truck to get it running. So got a few more things to lubricate, then I'll see about how the tracks move. And more stuff than I know what to do. I've got the John Deere, everything on the tracks I could find lubricated. Now I've got to jump all the way over to do a little bit on the Clark, Michigan. And yeah, it's sort of, if you're watching the videos, you'll see me bouncing around between various pieces of equipment, because that's the way it works. I mean, a lot of this stuff is older equipment, so you just can't get your parts just anywhere. You have to like redesign it. So you have to like plan ahead and get a little bit going. And then you get to a point where you can't work on it anymore until you get supplies. I've seen that on some other channels, but I don't know how well people actually mention that, because it takes a little bit of time to like get back underneath here like before. Since I added some packing into there, it pulls this plate out, which holds the seal in there, and the bolts are a little bit short. So I bought a bag of a little bit longer bolts, ones that are about the thickness of the packing. And so I can put those in there with the washers, and then I can call this good. And I'm just gonna see how well this works. I mean, just a teeny bit, that's just how much has been there for like 4 or 5 years. So I think that's probably okay for now. I'm pretty busy. If something's not leaking super bad at the moment, I get all the stuff that really is leaking bad. So I will finish this, and then we will go back over to the excavator and start the excavator up and see how much better the tracks work, if any. Got those longer bolts in. I got some Teflon to beef up the scraper slash dust seal. And I'm really interested to see how well this works. So if this is going to last like a couple days or a couple months or a couple of years doing it this way without, because if I can just do this like that, I mean, I won't have to be able to take the whole ram out on this machine. This machine, even the big ones have this sort of setup, so it means I could like reseal the main rams without having to take them out, which is actually pretty nice. But we'll see. This is a steering ram, so it's going to be used quite a bit, so I'll know really quick whether or not this method's going to work. Here's the test to see if lubricating those wheels actually is going to help the tracks roll better. I'll start it up again. I forgot, I need to put another bucket of hydraulic oil in. I got a couple buckets that I just picked up. So I gotta put those, at least one in right now. One thing I have noticed is I'm up here on one of the main boom rams. There's two of them. And up here there's some pitting in the chrome. And since I already know this thing leaks a little bit, I am going to try to take out some of that pitting using this emery cloth, holding it and moving it back and forth, take off all the burrs and everything off of the chrome, so hopefully it won't leak any worse. I don't want to get all that little bit of rust and stuff down in the seal. That's pretty good. I'm going to do a little bit more. Then I'm going to put a little bit of grease on it, just so that the places that is exposed and doesn't go on the ram, hopefully won't pit anymore. I'll check the ram on the other side too. Looking at the other ram, my dust seal seems to have slightly popped out. I gotta tap that in. And then I will, this cylinder doesn't seem to be that pitted. So just get those little bit of pits, but I gotta knock that seal back down. That's sort of strange. I got the grease. The grease will mostly wash away wherever it's being used, but where it's exposed, hopefully that'll just keep it from corroding for a little bit. So I notice I've got some up on that ram. I've got some right here. So I want to get this one cleaned real quick. Put that upper one up there. I'm going to have to bring this unit down to get to it. Just when I think I have one thing done, I see more things to be done. Now I'll finally be able to get to test the tracks. Let me get the speed up. I think it might just be all the joints being rusted. But now it's actually turning fairly good. It's not hesitating. Wish I knew what was causing that. It's getting less and less. That's pretty good. I'll try the other side. Whoa! I flicked the high speed. Now the high speed is working. Nice! It's really moving now. Oh, bite, slow down. Well, I guess I lost the high. I don't know why. I feel like just popped out. Well, I had high for a minute. Wonder if I blew the fuse. I still have that leak right there. Put the bucket there so whatever leaks drops in that. I'll use it a little bit and see what happens. And I put the four-wheeler here so I can get up there and reach that ram and clean up any rough spots here. So I didn't want to pull it in until I clean that, so that this thing, you know, leak. Looks like it has a very, very small leak. So it looks like this is another ram that's going to be on the list. So a little bit of work there. They have a nice little grease zerk point right here, but this is the only one that's working. This one goes to the back of the main arm ram up on the top, right up here. And these other two went to the top of this ram and the one on the other side, but they're disconnected. I put a new zerk fitting right there. So I've got everything pretty much greased up. I've got, like, that one didn't really want to take grease. I'll have to work on that one some more. And one down on where the bucket's hooked, his doesn't seem to be wanting to take grease. So they're on my list. Basically, take the grease zerk off and I try to fill it full of penetrating oil and then let it sit for a little bit and then try it again. Or I might see about bringing in an electric powered one so I can put a little more pressure on it. But do have a little bit of leak on that spot, and I do know that it leaked just a teensy bit up there, but I cleaned it all up really good. So now I'm going to run this a bit, move around down here and just see how everything's operating. Still don't know why the second gear just pops out for some reason. It doesn't work. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So it's a fairly simple machine, which is really nice. I don't have what is it, DEF. I don't have computers or anything. I mean, the only thing that really starts the engine is a starter, and the only thing that shuts it off is a lever that shuts off the fuel. I mean, you can't get much simpler than that. I mean, even all the levers are just manual levers, except for this thing has attachments for another feature. And looking at it, I'm guessing this thing had a jackhammer on it. I could be wrong, but I'm guessing a jackhammer, because I don't see this stuff for the thumb. I see this plate here, but I do want to get a thumb for this. I really, really need a thumb. And I know where one's laying down in the mud. I just got to talk to somebody about it. And I got all the pieces, but the plate that goes right welds onto here. But that's not a big deal. I can either make one or like go down a scrapyard and try to find one that's the right size. So I got that all cleaned up, everything. So I'm gonna move the ATV out of the way, do some tests on the machine, and then I'm gonna take a ride to the top and see the fortress and what we need to get going for that. I really like this old machine. I put it all the way down so all the rams are as low as I can get them. The only boom rams I can't get down farther unless I find myself over an edge. This is a long machine, and I'm like standing here and I'm gonna make my strides all the way to the other end. So that's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. 21 strides from as far as it can reach all the way to right to the back. It's actually a pretty impressive machine. Yeah, initially I was thinking maybe just get rid of it or something, you know, but it's really simple. I think I could probably fix everything that's on here. And now at Sparks Motors, I could like fabricate a few pieces that I couldn't really very easily before. I could before, it would have just taken me forever. That would take me forever. I could do in probably 20 minutes. So yeah, I got it. It started working in second speed, and it was moving pretty quickly. This thing doesn't want to steer though. When it's on flat surface, this thing just doesn't want to turn. I have to sort of lift it up a little bit with the bucket, and then while turning the turret, then move the tracks in opposite direction. Then it turns really easy, but it'll turn a little bit, but it really doesn't like to turn on flat ground. I think that was one of the things on these older machines. But right underneath this case here is where the hydraulic motors are bolting to the drive gear system and sprocket system. So there'd be a hidden behind this is a hydraulic motor and another hydraulic motor. Be interesting to see if I could rebuild those or get something a little bit stronger, so then it would be able to turn easier. But it is a nice little machine. I want to get the cab cleaned up, replace the windows that were vandalized, and get some more work on the electrical. But it is actually in functional state right now. I can actually do some work with it. So I will probably be doing a little bit of work down here, because there's going to be a building over there, and there's going to be some stuff here with the little cave and the fault zone right here. So now I think I'm going to head up and see what I need for getting the mountain truck going in the water, so I can start working on the Fortress 2. As I've been going up the mountain here, I'm just here at the bottom. There's a carcass of an animal right there. Weird position to be at. Must mean that there's one of the mountain lions around here. Doesn't look like it's been there very long, because I don't remember seeing it the last couple times up and down. So that's been a week old. Got to keep my eyes open. Well, while I'm heading up, I got some potatoes that sprouted. I'm gonna stick them. Don't have a garden area ready, but I'm just sort of curious. This is always sort of wet in this area. I'm just gonna plant a bunch of the old potatoes right here and see what happens. I don't know if they'll last long or whatever, but maybe they'll grow a little bit and provide food for the animals. But if it grows in here, that would be pretty nice, and I could figure out possibly of growing it in the garden at the top. Planted all the potatoes all along the line right there. Don't know if they'll make it or not, but it'll be interesting to see. And it's right here where I go by all the time, so I can monitor their performance. The mountain truck is all flats, and then I drained all the coolant out, so I've got to put coolant back in. And I got to get my tanks are full of water, need to be loaded into the water tank so I can mix concrete and mortar and stuff. I think there's 1, 2, 3, so basically 150 gallons of water that survived the winter. So looks like the concrete bags are still covered over. So let's get this truck up and running. Got a few things done. Got the truck running, got the tires aired up, but after it was running a little bit, then engine doesn't want to run. I have to keep pumping it to keep it to running, which means then one of the jets is probably plugged. And I pour like a bit of fuel in there. Maybe when I come up next time, that'll dissolve that gunk away. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to open the carburetor up, because no good trying to keep it running by pumping the pedal. and can't run the pump because the power cable is just gone. The conductors in it are just corroding away, and I tried to find where the broken wire was, but it's bad shape. I need to like buy some more wire. So I got a bunch of things, so I'm going to call it a day. As far as the video, I'm gonna go into town, get some more parts and stuff, and then as soon as I can get back up, I will get the water tank filled and move the mountain truck so I can bring up some more water. So thanks everyone for watching. Been a strange video. I've been like all over working on all sorts of little projects, and thank you all for everything. You know, subscribe, you know, hit that like button. You can hit the notifications, and you can even go to my Patreon account if you like to get a little more information. I usually bring stuff up on there more than I can on YouTube. So thanks, and see you on the next video.